Hi, Namaste. This is James Wong here. Many times I do discover in classes our new beginners in yoga, like new students that just joined yoga for like a couple of times, or perhaps even regulars. They have this difficulty of having their front foot step forward into a longer stance in lunges, where they start to push a lot of pressure against the kneecap, the patella. Let me show you an example. Like for instance, like from downward facing dog. When sometimes a verbal cue say, "Oh, step your right foot between your hands," what I notice is that sometimes their stance are not long enough, and when they start to come up, the knees start to loop forward, start to put a lot of pressure on the front knee. And you'll discover some students maybe dragging their legs in a couple of times, or maybe with a little bit of help with the hands, they will be able to put the feet forward between the hands. So basically, students like that, when they discover the difficulty of stepping forward, well, first thing, it slows down the process in the sun salutation or vinyasa flow. And besides, for them, they find that it's hard to get into the pose. Like, how can they get to the longer stance in just one big step? Perhaps the verbal cue sometimes yoga teachers uses, say, "Oh, take a big step forward between your hands." But sometimes even how big is your big? So it's very subjective. Depends on students. Some students think that, "Oh, this is big stance for them." So how do you help them? How do you help yourself at home for home viewers? Where I've got a little small tip for you for this holiday season, where you can use a yoga block to govern and to train your lifting of your hips and drawing your knees closer in towards your abdominals, using your core strength to uplift the pelvis to bring the foot into a big long stance. So this is how we're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to show you. You can take a look first and then you can try it out later. So first of all, come to a downward dog position. So the hands distance away from the block is not too far apart. Perhaps like a triangle, like a tripod. So it comes down facing dog. So many problems people would have this stepping a couple of times, like steps coming forward, is because they are not uplifting their core enough, neither they are not uplifting the pelvis enough. So if you have a block in between your hands and feet, what you need to avoid is to kick the block when you step the feet forward. So for instance, when you come to three-legged dog, inhale, as you exhale, you need to tuck the hips up a lot and then step the feet forward, touching the heel and the balls and the toes down against the floor so that your knees are above the ankle and you line the second toe. Okay? And then when you want to push it back to three-legged dog, what you do is you push your hips back, draw it up, and then stretch your legs out. Okay? So this is a little conditioning exercises, you can call it as. Some practices that you can do at home so that you can get used to that stepping forward, long lunge, a big lunge forward. Alright? Then you can slowly level it up. Then use the other leg. Lift, inhale, exhale, tuck your knee up, stepping forward. Heel walk toes. And when I go back, tuck up, and three-legged dog or whichever goes down facing dog. Now, you may have instances where you may want to cheat, alright? For instance, like this. This is what I found in class today. Some of the members, what they did was, they tried to do this. They slide the feet on the outside of the yoga block and then bring it forward. Well, they're still using the core to do this. Better than nothing. To me, at least it's an effort. So initially, you may not be able to jump over the yoga block. It's still fine. You can slide it and bring it towards between the hands. It's still fine. So let me show you again. This is something that you can cheat a little bit. initially. Okay, slide it out and pick in between. You're still using that uplift sensation of your abdominals to lift up the pelvis enough to give lots the room between a space of the floor and the hips. That's still fine, but eventually you need to discipline the legs to the midline of your body. Everything draw into the internal line of the internal thighs. Yeah, inner thigh lines. Inner rotate the hips in. Okay, draw your bunda up and lift the hips up when you step the feet forward. All right, then you slowly challenge yourself up another level. Okay. Now another thing I'd like to share with you is the jumping in. Okay, many times a lot of people tend to stay off in downward dog, jump forward. They'll just and you may hear a big thumb down to the floor. Okay. Now what you can do to practice your jumping is there are many ways actually. There's actually a lot of ways, but this is only one of the ways that you can use this block as a benchmark. Okay, try not to touch the block or hit on the block when you try to jump over. So a similar thing, but this is with two legs. Same thing with the long stance of the lunge. Okay, come to downward dog. Inhale, next to bend and jump between. All right. So and same thing goes when you jump back. Same, lift, jump. Downward dog. So that's how you learn how to lift the pelvis up, draw the thighs close to the belly. A couple of techniques. Lift the pelvis up, belly to thighs, to make sure that your foot doesn't touch the block. Then you can slowly level it up with two blocks. Two blocks. Yeah? Okay, make sure there's a little room that you can step your feet forward in any way. So from here, lift the chest, high, jump. Step forward. Bring it in. And we can go 3 blocks. Alright? Yeah. You can go higher. Yeah. Woo! Lengthen and jump. Bring it in here. Lift chest. Lift. So there should be a little like soft landing. Yeah, soft landing when you come forward. So fight, lift, jump. So it gets smoother and smoother each time you practice. Let's do one more time. Do it together. Chest forward. So, and you increase the block. Keep lifting it. Higher and higher and higher until you can see how high you can go. Yeah? So let's try this before we end the video. Inhale. Yeah. And so forth. Alright? So 2 tips for your season holidays. This break time you've got here. So you may be in Mauritius, Bali, Australia. So enjoy your holiday and Happy New Year 2018. It'll be a great year for all of us. Namaste.